So you're thinking about making a move to Portland, Oregon, but you're really concerned, or you wonder what the weather is really like here? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the weather as far as I've been a lifetime Portland, Oregonian. So stick around, we're getting after it right now. If you're new to our channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. We would love to have you a part of our community because we put out videos every single week on life in Portland and all things Portland. And if you have comments, put them below. And if you're moving to Portland and you need help, don't hesitate. We've got our cell phone below, email. We can hop on a phone call, a Zoom, whatever floats your boat, and get to know each other and help you make that smooth transition. So today's video I thought was timely because I've been thinking a lot about the weather here in Portland and also in other areas. See, at the time that I'm doing this video, unfortunately, I'm watching a lot of news about the Hurricane Helene that hit Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, that kind of whole area. And it's always amazing to me that people live in an area where they're maybe hit by pretty profound weather systems to the point where it can not only ruin their homes, but keep them from getting insured. And those areas just get heavily, heavily affected. Now, if that's a place that you like to live and you don't mind those chances that a hurricane or tornado or flash floods could happen, then more power to you. But I like to sort of give Portland, the Northwest generally, a kind of a pat on the back because we just don't have these catastrophic weather systems. It's not to say we don't get a healthy windstorm maybe once in a while or an ice storm that takes down quite a bit of trees, which, hey, if it hits your house, I guess that is pretty catastrophic, but not to the level at which it's taking down entire condo complexes or buildings or in towns. I mean, the stuff I'm seeing on the news right now, just it's terrible what's going on. And we saw this a few years ago with Hurricane Ian, and now they're talking about more weather systems. So I thought it would be appropriate to give people a sense of what the Pacific Northwest weather is really like. And I know you've heard a lot about it. Maybe you visited here, maybe you lived here for a while, maybe you currently live here and you're like, okay, there's a lot of gray and there's a lot of rain. But hey, are you willing to put up with that versus maybe having a big catastrophic season that you have to worry about every single year? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about that. So let's do it. Also, I should point out that at the time that I'm doing this video, it's currently October 1st. Now, for a lot of people who know Portland weather, our fall is the best. So in September, we sort of wind down the summer months. We've actually had here in 2024 an amazing September. It has been fairly dry and very temperate, and it starts to become crisp. Like the air feels light and cool and brisk, and it can be maybe in the 70s or it could be in the 60s. Or it can be in the 50s. But to us Oregonians, that's refreshing. And it tends to have a lot of sunny days. So we'll have these days like today, it is bright blue outside. The leaves are starting to shift and it's crisp. It's gonna be in the 60s today, which that's almost perfection for me. Beautiful blue sky day with crisp, cool weather. We can put on a light jacket. You can see I'm wearing my flannels. I've broken out my flannel. This is a light flannel. And us Oregonians get kind of excited about our attire change. We're ready to put away shorts and flip-flops for the summer, and we're excited about putting on pants and our vests. Like, you're gonna see me wear a lot of vests in videos. You probably noticed that if you watched a lot of our last year's videos, that it's just the perfect combination of not wearing a jacket, but still staying pretty warm. So if you move to the Northwest or you're living here, you're going to appreciate vests in a whole new way. But it's that type of season right now that kind of takes your breath away. In the next 35 days here in Portland, it's breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking. You cannot beat it. The trees are glorious oranges and reds, yellows. some purples. I mean, the color is like, I mean, it really brings some absolute striking beauty to the Pacific Northwest. And as an Oregonian, I can tell you it's one of my favorite seasons because it's just so dang beautiful. The leaves do start to fall, but there's kind of a cool, factor with that. But when people come in the fall, they're blown away because of how beautiful the depth of colors that, are all over the landscape. And it's cool and brisk. It's no longer hot or warm. And it just has this fresh feeling of a new season happening. So I kind of want to talk about we have all 4 seasons here in Portland. But as an Oregonian, let's just keep it really real. So I've been talking all about how fall is just truly amazing time of the year, which it is. But very quickly and abruptly, starting in the first week of November, it feels like the first week of November, all the leaves are starting to really come off the trees. So things start looking a lot more bare, not that beautifulness that we were used to. And by mid-November, almost all the leaves are gone. So it looks pretty bare around here. And the temperature starts to really drop. And between November through April, half of the month, you're going to have rain. That's right, half. Between 12 and 15 days per month are going to be rain. And the other thing you're going to experience is gray. So now, some years we get lucky and we start an early kind of spring, summer in April, May, where we get more nicer days than others. And then we just feel like we have an early summer. And then some years, truth be told, it doesn't start until like literally late June or early July. And when we have a summer that does not start, like the rainy season doesn't quit until like late June, early July, you feel like you get robbed of a summer. And then if it starts really early in the fall for rain, you literally can only have like 3 to 4 months of solid, great weather. This year, however, in 2024, we had impeccable weather, in my opinion. We started an early summer, so it started feeling really good in May. A lot of really nice days mixed with some rainy days, but we didn't have to wait too long before the sun was out pretty consistently. And here we are, October 1st, and it's actually been quite lovely. It's been, a really long amount of time. There are years where you can get truly 6 months of decent, great weather here in the Portland area. And then there's some years where you only feel like you get 3.5 to 4 months. And those are the hardest years because I have been here when it gets gray 8 months out of the year and you feel like you're climbing out of your skin. You just need some sun. But let me go back to what I was talking about, which is the seasonality. So I'm talking all about fall. Quickly in November, it starts getting colder, darker, and rainier. Now, dark. You get up in the morning, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's dark. And you come home from work at like 5, 6, completely dark. So your days feel shorter and you feel like you have to kind of like retreat into your houses. During the summertime, you're out till like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, sitting on your back patio, enjoying yourself. But then like comes that November turn where it feels like the days get shorter, darker, colder. Now, what I always tell people is November, December are that transition. However, you've got the holidays. So in my opinion, I'll always look at the holidays like you want it to be colder. You want to feel like you're kind of cozying into the season a bit. And you're really distracted by, the holidays. There's more activities around the holidays. You're decorating for the holidays. You kind of want it and assume it's going to be colder during the holidays. To me, the hardest month in the entire year here in Oregon is January because you put all your holiday decorations away. There's not really any imminent holidays to look forward to. It becomes very obvious that there is no leaves. It's gray every day. It's cold every day. It's dark every day. And you're past that holiday buzz or high, and you just feel kind of like, ugh. And I usually see people who live here, whether they're in retirement or they have a second home somewhere, people often leave here from January till March. They'll go to their second homes. They'll travel to warmer destinations during that time. I highly recommend that if you're have seasonal depression or you're very affected by gray and you plan on moving here, plan on going somewhere warm during those months or plan on taking a retreat somewhere that, you can get a little sunshine, a little vitamin D because it can get rough. I'm not going to lie. There are some years here where I'm like, ugh, the gray. But you just have this little pitter patter of rain that happens throughout this season. And, like I mentioned, we don't have a lot of natural disasters. We kind of get the rain that trickles in throughout the year. But if you can live with that, maybe you're working here, maybe you're thriving here. One thing also that helps is because we are very outdoorsy here. We have the mountain only about an hour and a half away. A lot of people go up to the mountains to sled, ski, snowboard. I myself am a skier, born and raised skiing on Mount Hood. And the fact that it's so close, we take a day trip up and back just to get, if it's really crummy down here and it's raining, it's usually snowing or doing really well up at the mountain. So you're really close. You're really close to these snow activities. And if you have that to look forward to, it can make the winter months feel totally fine. Honestly, there's been years where we've spent a lot of time up at the mountains on the weekends. And when it's crummy down here, it's going to be nice up there. Or if it's snowing hard up there, you have something to look forward to. So just something to think about. Also, the coast is an hour and a half away. So if you like kind of that warm and cozy coast type thing, it ain't no beach, okay? Don't bring your, sandals and flip-flops. It's cold and it's usually pretty rainy at the coast. But they have a lot of really unique restaurants down there and people like to go stay down there. And it's got kind of an ambiance, right? It's like foggy, cold, rainy, but you got the ocean. So, it's something you have to tolerate. So I would say January, February, and March are the toughest months for the gray, dark, and cold in this era. Now, after March comes April. April can be very, very, very rainy, dark, gray, but you're usually like so close to the spring transition that you're like hanging on. You're like, okay, if we can just make it, if we can get a few nice days to hold us through, or if we can make it to May, we'll be okay. So usually like April and May can be wetter months, but sometimes May gives us a little bit more nicer days. And when that happens, it's just, you're only a few weeks away from enjoying the sunshiny days of the summer. And let me tell you about the summers. The summers here, phenomenal. Why? Because, we have gotten hotter over the last few years. But for the most part, 75 to 80 degrees with a nice wind. We usually cool down in the evenings and in the mornings. And it's just bright, beautiful, spectacular days. Usually people who come during the summer months, they sort of go, oh my God, Portland's perfect. Don't come in the summer months and think this is how it is all year round. It is just not the case. It's one of those where you really need to come here during the wintertime, during the fall, during the spring, if you want to get the true sense of what it feels like. But the summer months, I would say if we start off in June, but June can be rainy. We've seen a lot of years where it can be rainy. We used to joke that the summer here in Portland didn't start till after July 4th. Literally like clockwork. It was like July 4th hit, and then all of a sudden the days were like, 90s and beautiful. But, we've had a couple of years now where it's started off a little early. So we feel like we got a long summer. That can happen. When it does, it's glorious. Like there's nothing better. There's so many outdoor activities that you can enjoy and do. And people really take advantage of it. And you really can't beat the summers here. So again, there are people that retire and they have a home somewhere else. So when it gets really gloomy and icky, they go there and then they fly back. But the summers and the fall. So if you look at summer starting, let's just say hypothetically in June, and it goes till the end of August, and then you've got September, October, you've got a fair amount of months there where the weather's perfect. Everything's beautiful and blooming. Even spring can be nice, just depends. It's very wet, but you see all of the flowers and the trees and the blue. Like it's, to me, like April to May is such a fun time because I literally sit out in my backyard and I've got tons of shrubs and trees and things like that I literally watch them sprout and grow and bloom almost daily. And that for me, maybe because I'm getting old, really is a treat. And I appreciate it. So when I see the rain come in, I'm like, okay, it's raining, it's nice weather, it's raining, it's nice weather. That's like the perfect storm for your flowers and your shrubs and everything else to be happy. But truthfully, you're gonna have to be really okay with gray because the rest of the year is gray, low cloud cover, cold to the bone during the winter time. And I mean, like, I have my fireplace running all the time. I have a fireplace in my home office. You just get cold to the bone. It's those days where you just can't seem to get warm. And then it's like, if it's, raining on top of it, so just be prepared. We like fireplaces here. We love fireplaces. We don't care if it's real wood, gas, wood burning, whatever, but they're important here. So I'm all about fireplaces. So you actually use them here. I have some friends that live in Florida and they have a fireplace and they're like, we've never turned it on. So it's almost funny and comical that they have a fireplace in some of those properties. But anyway, the point is that we do have all 4 seasons, but I would say half of those seasons, you're going to experience a lot of cold, a lot of gray. And if you're okay with that, if you don't mind rain and all that stuff, then come on over to Portland because we have a lot of it. And once again, kind of circling back to the whole concept of natural disasters, like I feel blessed that we don't here in the Pacific Northwest experience yearly catastrophic weather conditions. Do we have the occasional ice snowstorm? Yes. Do we have the occasional ice, tons of trees down, causing all kinds of chaos for about a week? Yes. But we're not talking about demoing cities, houses, cataclysmic events where it's going to take, months, if not years, or large insurance claims to get the city or, people back on their feet. So that's where I feel like Portland kind of wins, is if you can tolerate, low cloud cover, gray, cold, then you're not going to have those crazy, catastrophic events. And going back to insurance, I suspect insurance is going to get harder and harder to get in certain areas like Florida and areas that are close to shorelines, because quite frankly, it's becoming an issue now. You hear about the stories about how they can't or won't insure certain places. Well, it's going to continue to get bad enough in those areas. And I suspect that is going to push people to say, you know what, maybe I'll just come visit Florida and live somewhere else. So that's my 2 cents on the Portland weather from just going through it every year. So if you guys have questions, comments, drop them. I want to hear what you have to say. Did I miss something? I did not go into the depths of what is the average daily weather, temperature and so forth. There's a lot of other channels that'll give you that data. I just wanted to kind of come to you and say, this is our experience on living here from somebody that's been here year by year. And like I'd mentioned, it's a great place to live if you can kind of, be tolerant of our weather, but your house won't fall down. So at any rate, hopefully you found this helpful. And if you are planning on making a move or you have questions about certain times of the year and weather patterns and all that, drop them below. Let's chat.